Hey, what's up guys? Welcome to our glitter countertops DIY video. Really excited to show you how we did this. We had a lot of fun. You're gonna have a lot of fun too. Quick note, couple things that we learned. First, it's really important to have a level surface. You don't want that epoxy you don't want it to sliding to one side. If you're doing a DIY at home for your countertops, you'll probably put tape around the edges. That's also really important to have a level surface. You don't want that stuff sliding off. Second, we did these countertops for a tent trailer. We cut out MDF and then we spray painted the MDF with like 7 coats of polyurethane. What we found out is that the epoxy doesn't adhere as well to the polyurethane, especially on the sides. So we would coat the sides and it just kind of sloughed off. So we wouldn't recommend necessarily polyurethane. I think you can make it work. We definitely did. But right out of the gates, I would see if there's a different product out there that would bond a little bit better to the epoxy. Third thing is, one of the things we noticed was we were using a really coarse gold glitter that looks sick. But when we poured it initially onto the countertops, we let it sit too long, and that coarse glitter kind of floated to the bottom and stayed there. So when you put the glitter, when you dump the glitter on your counters, make sure that you spread it really quickly so that you get an even spread of the glitter. We're okay with it just because it still looks pretty good, but that is one thing that we noticed. So those are a couple notes to keep in mind as you watch these videos. Hopefully you guys have a great experience doing it yourself and you get some good information from these. Thanks. We are gonna do black glitter countertops. We cut up raw MDF and we polyurethaned it, spray painted it black, polyurethaned it with about 6 coats. And now we're getting ready to do our glitter countertop. Glitterize this. So we have a few tables set up here, and what we did is we made sure that the surfaces were absolutely level. Where did we get this from?
This is from Hobby Lobby.
Okay, so we got Hobby Lobby epoxy. We got our glitter from Michael's. So we have some of this coarse glitter, and then we have some really fine black glitter. So now that we have our surfaces level, we're going to use these brushes to apply the epoxy on the sides. We're going to put the epoxy in a milk gallon, and we're just going to let it drip off. We're going to let it dry for 8 hours. And then we'll put a clear epoxy coat on. That's why we got 2. So the first one's just going to be for applying the glitter, and then the second epoxy coat will just be over the top of the glitter after we sand. Mix. Is that the hardener? Or that's the hardener?
Yeah.
Hardener goes in second.
I don't know, I just did it.
So I think you mix that for 2 minutes and then we'll put the glitter in after.
I'm gonna do a minute. Glitter. Now has it been a minute?
Yep. There goes the black glitter.
That is so much glitter. We might only need 1.
No, trust me.
Trust
me.
you?
Yes. I've watched so many videos.
Are you sure?
I'm positive. I'm 1000% positive.
Okay. We'll go 2, but that's it.
Yeah, glitterified. so sick. It's a lot thicker than I thought, huh?
Yeah.
That's good. You sure you don't want to add another gold one in?
Yeah. Look at that. That's what the surface of the countertops will look like.
Yeah, I could use more.
What? It looks good.
I could use more of the gold. Yeah, way more.
Way more? No. We want it to still float.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Nice call.
All right, this is the last of it. I'm not doing any more than that. Okay, has it been 2 minutes?
Yeah, it's definitely been 2 minutes.
Well, now. So
all right,
now,
so we've added three of the gold and 2 of the black glitters. You sure you don't want to add another
yes,
black?
I'm sure.
Okay, here we go.
I don't know what I want to use.
So now we have to apply
Let's see.
as
This is the
fast
biggest one.
as we can because epoxy sets up very quickly. Glitter.
I think I need your help to do this, babe.
Okay. Okay, so it's a little cloudy, but that will clear up. Now I'm just going to take this brush here and get the edges. Alright, so now you stipple the surface once you've got it evenly distributed.
I'm flinging it everywhere. Do you hear that? Probably not the best brush to do this with.
All right, so this is the completed countertop. We're just using the light to make sure that there's no bald spots. The epoxy is going to be a little cloudy, but it will clear up as it dries. And we have a heat gun that we're going to apply here in a second to start working the bubbles out of the surface. All right, now we're taking a heat gun and we will apply it to the entire surface just to get the bubbles out. So you can see it's still cloudy, but we'll hit it with the heat gun a couple more times and then make sure it's not dripping along the bottom edges here. All right, we'll see how that turns out tomorrow. We're gonna take a look. It's been, we did this last night and they rested overnight. And so we're gonna see how they turned out. Oh, check it out. Still tacky, but for the most part smooth. We have a couple pieces of glitter popping up, but look at that. Wow. That turned out amazing. Babe, I don't know that we need a sand.
There's a couple rough spots. I'm wondering if we just mix up the rest of the clear.
And put a clear coat over?
And put a clear coat over.
Oh, wow. This is... Wow. So one thing we did is we poured, so in the video you'll notice that we poured over here and then we poured here and this sat. And so we think that while it sat, you can kind of see the trail, that the glitter kind of settled down. And then when we distributed the epoxy, the glitter had already kind of settled into the middle here. So that's one thing that when you do this, make sure that you put it on and spread it immediately so that you get a nice distribution. But other than that, I mean, even with that, it's still looks good. So black spray paint on the bottom, then you mix your epoxy in with your glitter and apply it. We had done polyurethane, and that was a challenge here on the sides. We got the sides a lot, but you can still see that the sides, like right here, it's relatively dry, even though we had applied the epoxy on. So it didn't seem like the epoxy could stick. Not sure if that was because of the polyurethane coats or if it's just MDF in general. But the tops look fantastic, and for the most part, the sides look really good as well. It's been about 24 hours, and we have some glitter just poking up, making it rough. So we're sanding now, and we're just going to apply a clear coat on the bigger surfaces here. And we'll let that cure for 72 hours, then we'll put it in, we'll actually install it. This is 150 grit sandpaper. All right, that's the second coat we just put on. We're just stippling it right now. Using this paint scraper, actually this putty knife really was very, very helpful. So recommend using that if you're gonna do this project. Now we're just gonna let it dry. We come out every hour to 2 hours and just scrape along the bottom here just to make sure that it's not pooling up too bad. And then 72 hours from now, we're gonna install. It's been 24 hours since we laid the second epoxy coating on these countertops, and they're looking really much better, much more smooth after being sanded, taking all the rough spots right out. So this is going to be a nice smooth surface. If we turn it over, we do have some dripping here that we tried to control. We obviously didn't get it all. This one is not bad, so I'm going to leave this one alone. But I just finished with this one using the razor blade there, and you can see that we missed these inner drips. So those are going to have to be sanded, which is going to suck. So if you're doing this, just remember every hour we would come out and we would just take something underneath, you know, and scrape off the excess here. We totally spaced this inside spot. So just make sure you come out often and just scrape the bottom of this so you don't have a lot of extra work to do. Essentially, I'm just going to need to sand this and then polyurethane the bottom. You can see these here. So Not that big of a deal, but just made extra work that was unnecessary. But the top is looking really good. The countertops turned out really good. So this is those glitter countertops that we epoxied and put glitter inside of, and it's just, they're super nice and smooth, and they turned out really, really nice.